One of our projects on trafficking received 2 awards here in Boston from International Association of Chief of Police. So that experiment also I am going to talk to you today while discussing on the best practices. Another thing I am doing is on the community policing, where tomorrow I have a class for the undergrad students, where I will be talking on community policing in India in that class. So there again, in 2004, those community policing practices, they got awarded here in US, in Los Angeles, again by International Association of Chief of Police in community policing category as well as Homeland Security on these 2 categories. So it was my long time dream to have interaction with international students through such a platform, and again my gratitude to Dr. Deepakant Vyas and Dr. Glassman and the team here for giving me this opportunity. Whenever we discuss human trafficking, many times we get confused with that, say, trafficking for the sex, or we call it prostitution. But one thing we must understand, there are 3 parts of human trafficking. And the first part here is the process of, say, recruiting, transporting, harboring, transferring, or receiving a person or group of persons by threat, by using the fraudulent method, by kidnapping, by abduction. It may be by deception, it may be abuse of power, it may be inducement, and finally it will be for sex trafficking or the prostitution. It may be for domestic servitude, it may be for forced labor, maybe for organ trade, maybe for camel jockeying. Camel jockeying may be new to you, but here in the Middle East countries, they have the camel races, and small children are getting trafficked to Middle East. These children are tied to the legs of the camel, and when the child will cry, camel will run with more speed. So this is known as camel jockeying. Then we have circus. I think in US also you must be having this circus here. Here the Nepal is the one country from where many children are getting trafficked for circus. Then we have child pornography. The child pornography at present is a universal problem, and we have many cases in our country also. Especially I still remember a 2004 case where a couple from Sweden, they came to Mumbai or Bombay. They have lured some roadside begging children by giving them some trophies, and then they were picturizing those pornographic film on them. Police come to know, they have conducted raid. They have tried to delete the data from the laptop, but it was retrieved. They got convicted. Somehow there was a stay on their arrest in the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, they left the country, but their passports were with police. We do not know how they left the country. So this problem is a universal problem. We have the contract marriage. This is a peculiar problem in the city where I am right now, the police chief, where from Middle East, the countries like Oman, maybe from, say, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, some Arab sheikhs are coming. They may be 60 years or 70 years old. They come for short-time marriages, known as contract marriage, and exploiting those minor girls, say below 18 years, for 10-15 days by giving some money to their parents, giving some money to the brokers. They will leave the country. This is known as contract marriage. Then we have adoption. Small babies are getting adopted illegally. We do not know where these babies are going. Whether they are going for some pornography, whether they are going for some other purpose, we do not know. There are other forms of trafficking also. And this definition is as per United Nations Protocol against prevention, suppression and punishing trafficking in women and children. We also have United Nations Convention against transnational crime, that if also defines trafficking in the same line. If you see this map of world, you will realize how this demand and supply of the trafficking work. It has been said that trafficking is the second largest organized crime in the world after drugs trade. Couple of years back, it was third. First drugs, second arms, which is now the major issue here in US, and third was the trafficking. But of late, now trafficking has overcome the arms, and now it has come to second position. It's a billion-dollar industry, and someone has estimated $150 billion per year. People call it modern slavery, and I still remember Abraham Lincoln, who used to say, if the modern slavery is not wrong, then nothing is wrong. So whatever the trafficking is happening for different purposes is like modern slavery. And if you see the countries from where the supply is high, from where the victims are getting recruited for different purposes of trafficking, the red color here, you can see the erstwhile Soviet Union. Those breakup countries now like Kazakhstan, maybe Uzbekistan, maybe Ukraine, and those part of CIS countries, then Southeast Asia, then Nigeria. These are some part of the world from where many victims are getting trafficked, mostly for the sex trafficking. I have another slide. I will tell you the percentages and all. The second category, the orange color, here India is there. In that category, the Pakistan, worldwide every year, 21 million victims are getting trafficked every year. Of that, 71% are women and girls, 29% are men and boys. If we see the end, 54% getting trafficked for sexual exploitation, 38% for forced labor, 8% for other purposes like organ trafficking and maybe the pornography, camel jockeying and all. If we see what is happening in the US, every year around 14,500 to 17,500 people are getting trafficked. Of that, 50% are children. And from where they are coming? To East Asia and Pacific region. It contribute maximum to United States, and this information is from the source of US Department of Justice. If we see different countries in the world and the problems they have, like sex trafficking, the trafficking for commercial and sexual exploitation or prostitution, what we say? Nigeria is one such country. The south part of Nigeria is having dominance of Christianity, and the north part dominance of Muslim religion there. And from this country, of late, many women and minor girls they are getting trafficked to Europe, to UK, to Italy, to France. These are the three countries where the destination lies from Nigeria. Then we have the Soviet Union countries like Uzbekistan and all, Nepal and Bangladesh. For them, India is destination. In India, we have many red light areas and where the victims, mostly from Bangladesh, from Nepal, they are coming, they are getting trafficked from these places. And many times we see, because of the lack of timely help to them in getting them rescued, over the years, some of them have become the madams also. They themselves are now running those brothels. We have the forced labor issue, and here I was surprised when I have seen the in California, the Central Valley, agricultural labor getting trafficked from East Asia and Pacific region. One is on S2A visa, they are coming temporarily. Second is illegal migrants. And the illegal migrant, there the minimum wages and other things will not be applicable. A lot of exploitation is going on. Then in Thailand, we have seafood industry, where again the forced labor is a serious issue of the trafficking. Coming to debt bondage, or we call it bonded labor, where a certain amount will be given to a family, and that family will work for someone as a complete bonded labor. They will act as per the wishes of the owners who have purchased them or who have given them some money. I remember Mahatma Gandhi here, who used to say that this system of debt bondage is like starvation of your soul. It's more serious than you are starving of the body. You are not thinking with your own personality. Someone is using the remote control and operating on you. That kind of issues are there with the debt bondage. We have the circus, I was talking about that, and in Nepal, where after the earthquake, very serious issues. Many traffickers landed in Nepal after earthquake. People have gone to Nepal for the charity, for helping the people. But these traffickers, criminals, they have landed there to recruit children, recruit girls, especially minor girls, for the circus purpose. Contract marriages, then the labor trafficking of Singapore and Malaysia for the construction industry. That's another serious issue. Then organ removal, especially the kidney. You know the problem with the kidney transplantation. Very rarely a person who wants to have a kidney transplant will get a donor. There is a big queue. And then the people who are getting cheated in the name of international tourism and all, they get exploited. Like from India, couple of youth, they were taken to Sri Lanka to do the sightseeing in Sri Lanka, tourism. And without their knowledge, they were admitted in the hospital and they realized their one kidney is not there. So this kind of practices are there in organ removal. Why trafficking? Now we say world is becoming a global village. World is coming very close because of IT revolution and many other things. But here, at the same time, even the trade in human beings is also getting easy. Online transaction nowadays is a serious issue. Online sex trafficking, online advertisement for the prostitution is a very serious issue, and I'm happy that very recently the United States has passed a law against the online advertisement for the prostitution. I think it's the only country in the world. It's required in every country. We are facing very serious problem in India because of this online advertisement. We always say this trafficking is a demand and supply. When there is a demand, there will be supply. And how demand will be created, we are not knowing. I still remember 2010, there were Commonwealth Games in Delhi. And suddenly the red light area of Delhi, which is the capital of our country, there some spoken English classes started for the prostitutes or sex workers. Some new girls getting recruited. Then couple of NGOs, civil societies, they have brought it in the notice of the court. Orders were issued to law enforcement and raids were conducted and they were rescued. Similarly in Germany, when there was World Cup football in Germany, they legalized prostitution for that particular period of the football tournament. So the demand and supply, these are the two factors which mostly work for the trafficking. I would like to ask you a simple question on the difference between human smuggling and human trafficking. Anyone? Is it same?
I'll argue that smuggling the person is a willing person and trafficking is kidnap or unwilling.
Yes, Professor. Yes. Any other difference? Yeah. See, smuggling will always be there across the border. There will be international border. Okay. Whereas the trafficking can happen in this room also. It is possible in this room. It is possible from this room to next room. No borders are required for traffic. In smuggling, always the person who is getting smuggled, he is willing, he is voluntary. He is a party to that crime, getting the document, passport documents forged, visa forged. He will misrepresent someone and will go to that country. We call them illegal migrants and all, when we come across such cases. In human trafficking, the person who is getting trafficked, who is that person? I will tell you in the next slide. But that person is a victim. Another thing is normalization of exploitation. When the person is getting trafficked, maybe for prostitution, maybe for forced labor, if there is no intervention from law enforcement in time, that person starts thinking that my birth is for this purpose only. So lifetime he or she will be in that profession. This is known as normalization of exploitation. Many times you might have heard about Stockholm syndrome, where those women and the minor girls, they are getting fallen in the love of those procurers, those pimp, who is just showing some little sympathy for them. That is like a Stockholm syndrome happening between the exploiter and the victim. Now, who is the trafficking victim? We call it a basket of crime. A victim of trafficking is the most harassed person in the world. Getting sold, getting purchased, getting kidnapped, getting wrongfully restrained or confined. There will be numerous torture, physical torture, mental torture, starvation, until and unless that person say yes to do prostitution, to do forced labor. There will be compelling, pursuing by the trafficker. The atrocities of trafficker are very brutal. I have seen couple of victims, small girls, just to attract the customer, injected with hormone growth injections. These injections are given to the cattle for high milking, so that these girls will look bigger and they will be attracted. They are getting, in the sex trafficking especially, they are getting repeatedly raped. We do not know how many customers or clienteles are there in a brothel per day. If you go to a place like Bombay or Delhi, there are red light areas, and where in the morning some account will be opened of each victim. The madam will have the diary, and at the end of the day, she will write the token. How many tokens are given to this victim? So number of tokens, depending on that day's employment will be decided. If the customer is giving 100, say